Hi, today I want to tell you about how to accept the shortcomings of a man. Sooner or later, each of us has to admit the truth: ideal men do not exist in nature. And when a not so ideal, but good-hearted man appears next to you, the question inevitably arises whether it is worth dragging him to your imaginary ideal or simply loving him as he is. Men's saviors. You can't change a man, insist mothers, aunts, and older coworkers. Maybe so, but my case is different, you secretly think. Because you fly on the wings of love. And where are the friend stories that the beloved just changes in his eyes in order to please them? Here, one lover turned into a gentle teddy bear on the couch, another misunderstood artist, a dodgy grandfather, into a clever businessman. Such stories are usually embellished in order to show off to friends, but it seems to the lover that it is because of her, who is so beautiful and intelligent, that he is really determined to make drastic changes. Sometimes, when you ask such a creature, it seems that she is about to lock herself in a cage with a wild beast and train him, because this is her vocation, and besides, love is almighty, it works miracles. Let's remember ourselves. After all, at some point in our lives, we really believed that our loved one would be perfect if we nurtured him a little. It is not surprising that such an attitude does not allow you to simply enjoy life and the person you love with all his flaws. Because it must be flawless. But if we admit to ourselves that his character is not as ugly as it seems to us, life will become easier. The law of attraction of opposites. Opposites attract, so ladies from good families usually end up with bad guys. If she has ambitions to one day become famous, like a great violinist, and because of that she plays the violin day and night, there is a good chance that the girl will be attracted to some girl who is raging in the clubs during the night, forever without money and the desire to earn it. She then explained her decision as to why she chose that particular cover from a bunch of serious fans simply: he looked so in love. I didn't want to come across as a complete snob, so I didn't resist his charm. The question arises, what did he charm her with? If we were to listen to the story of a guy teaching a serious woman, it would sound something like this: as a good connoisseur of women, I immediately realized that if I want to win her over, I'll have to try to turn her head around. First, talk about your lofty goals and plans, which, of course, I don't have, and then get into the role. The most interesting thing is that I actually soon felt more serious around her. The desire to achieve something appeared. It became a shame to continue to be lazy, because my girlfriend became an example of how to achieve what you set your mind to. I found a job, started studying a year ago. I wouldn't have even thought about it. But don't be fooled, it happens this way, but it also happens the other way. A man gladly accepts the money earned by his wife, but he doesn't look for a job himself. You understand, my dear, that my education does not allow me to work anywhere and in anything, and you are doing well. A typical case. Often you will say, mine is nothing at all, but his character is very difficult. What does this mean? Which of his characteristics can be lived with and which cannot be tolerated? Well, it's hard, of course, to swallow the pain every day. If he behaves like a colonel with an errant soldier, he explains how to live in a raised voice. If you have been silent until now, you can surprise him, or completely unexpectedly scold him, or even better, calmly state that his statements about, for example, the skirt being too short, do not bother the dark at all. And you are not at all afraid of him. The surprise effect sometimes works quite well, it can even make you laugh. Humor can electrify any situation. Of course, such a guy is unlikely to get rid of his impulsiveness, but his beloved will understand that his outbursts of anger are not aimed at her personally, but simply to let off steam. A partner, not a mother. A certain category of women would like to treat men like children, not to seek adult compromises, but to tell or ask him to behave in a way that is convenient for them. They take responsibility to make that person a good man. Everything is projected into the future instead of living in the here and now. Only unlike children, parenting tools for men are often ineffective. Let's consider the situation when she lives independently and he still lives with his parents, although he could rent an apartment. He, of course, agrees in theory that it is time to start living an independent life, and moves in with her. She waits a year or two for him to grow up. He will take responsibility for their joint future, take care of the household, etc. i.e. But he doesn't seem to care at all, because he replaced one mommy with another. This situation usually does not change because a person is unable to get rid of his infantile desires that someone else will solve all the problems. Parents or girlfriend. Each of us will find reasons to fight against a man's shortcomings. And we sincerely hope that if he gets rid of those flaws, life will become easier and more pleasant. Really? Do a simple test. Write down all its minuses on one side of the sheet and exactly the same number of pluses on the other. You'll have to look for the latter longer, won't you? Because if you want to love a man unconditionally with all his flaws, you need to constantly remind yourself of his great qualities. Thanks for listening. If you want to hear more, click subscribe and like.